the fire chief be a part of this advisory committee.
Okay. All right, so when the motion gets made, will someone add him as part of that committee? All right. So is anyone prepared to make a motion on this item? Motion to approve with the addition of.
The addition of
Chief
the
Butler.
fire chief on the advisory
Okay.
board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How are the gateways determined? Because I feel like the northern gateway is severely neglected. And with the plant development in southwest Atlanta, seems like,
Talking about Dogwood Drive.
yeah, with our neighbor in Ferguson, Adair Park, the development's coming that direction.
I think because the focus of the LCI study and the comprehensive plan was focused on the downtown corridor, I think that's why they were focusing on
Place
the
that lead
Virginia.
into the downtown corridor.
Yeah, I think that's why they were focused on the Virginia subsection and then the central. I understand what you're saying.
But there was
I mean,
also
the
necessary
city's-
discussion in LCI 2 about beautification of that north side corridor as well in the LCI plan.
Because I mean, the reality is the city's 2.5 square miles, so every corridor leads to downtown.
And just to echo what Councilman Alexander said, the north corridor is lacking down there tremendously. We have totally really overlooked that corridor and focused on everything else.
Yeah, I believe, you know, whole broken windows theory, appearances, everything. I mean, there's a stark contrast as soon as you pass those car lots.
There is,
So,
there is.
but the sign at Hateville is so tiny and it's covered with trees and things. I just think that's something that we need to focus on sooner than later.
Any further discussion? All right, there being none, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And let's try to formulate a plan for that north corridor, because I agree that it does need some assistance for sure. Next item is consideration and action to allow the installation of a mosaic tile public art display on the sidewall at 599 North Central Avenue. That's the Academy Theater building. On Wednesday, April 25th, the April Main Street Board voted unanimously to support the installation of $1,570. And our package tonight is a statement from Everman, along with examples of artwork. Staff recommends approval of the installation. Is anyone prepared to make a motion on this item?
So moved.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Okay.
Discussion?
I think it's great.
He would also like to install some solar panel. He just called me today, some solar panel lanterns with the same emblem. He's really excited. He loves Hateville. He's really excited to be doing a project here. He would like to do other projects pending approval and funding.
I think it just stands as a, it's sort of funky looking, but it stands as a cultural icon. And if you go to Monday Night Brewing's Monday Night Garage up off of the West Side Trail of the Beltline, they have a thing that used to be at Pont City Market that's now there. Chloe told me about that, so I went to have a beer, and it's sort of like a area that you can sit in, but it's sort of a weird cultural icon, similar to like Tiny Doors Atlanta. And I think it being there and him sharing us as an arts destination will only, it's a small investment that will bring more people, so.
Any further discussion? All right, there being none, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item up is consideration and action to approve Railroad Management Company, Roman numeral 4 LLC, in the amount of $12,485 annually for assigned license rights related to Hateville water mains located in the railroad right-of-way. In the 1940s, the railroad granted the city of Hateville several license agreements to construct water mains in the railroad right-of-way. Norfolk Southern did not have the resources to administer the billing of these old license agreements, so they assigned these rights to a group that would collect the annual license fees. Railroad Management Company sent us 3 license agreement invoices in the amount of $26,929. We contacted other cities and Georgia Municipal Association and discovered this was happening statewide without much recourse. Our legal team and staff reviewed the license agreements and negotiated a reduced amount in the amount of $12,485 to be paid annually for these licenses. The license fee invoices will be expensed annually from the water sewer fund. Is anyone prepared to make a motion on this item?
I'd like to see if we can, on section 1C, CPI factor adjustment, strike 2 words where it says upwards only. So if the CPI index goes negative, we basically let them continue to charge us $12,000 even if the CPI goes to -5% over a year, then we'd owe less.
Where was that at?
It's page 2, right smack dab in the middle. It's
Oh, okay, I
1C.
see. Item C?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a pure labor statistics factor, and it's commonly used in contracts, but commonly used, I think Norfolk Southern might have been sneaky by putting upwards only in there. So I'm not sure if this is something that they're begging to have paid in the next 2 weeks, but if we can strike that and pay in 2 weeks, we might owe them less, I guess is what I'm trying to get to.
Certainly give it a whirl, I suppose. All right, so motion, we don't have a motion yet, do we? So whoever makes the motion, will you reflect that language?
Motion to table until the mid-month meeting, directing city staff to seek out Central Georgia Railroad Company and any other connected companies in Norfolk Southern in order to strike the language upwards only from section 1C CPI factor adjustment.
Page 2 of the license agreement. Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Discussion? There being none, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is consideration action to approve RDJE Incorporated in the amount of $29,823.21 for an emergency sewer line collapse repair at 3409 Dogwood Drive. On March 26, 2018, we discovered the manhole on North Whitney Avenue was full of sewage and getting close to the top. Lovely conversation. After several attempts, we were unable to unclog the sewer line from Dogwood Drive, and in the process, discovered the line had collapsed between North Whitney and Dogwood. Due to the depth of the line and the nature of the repair, we contracted RDJE Incorporated, who is the on-call emergency repair contractor for Hateville and East Point. Once on site, RDJE Incorporated discovered that the storm drain pipe above the sewer line had settled and crushed the clay sewer pipe. Over 60 feet of new sewer pipe was installed and flow was restored. The emergency repair will be expensed from our repair and maintenance budget from the water sewer fund. We have some lovely photographs if anybody would like to see them. I know that shows you if you'd like to look. Anyone prepared to make a motion on this item?
I have a question.
Certainly.
Lee, I'm sure that you have been working on this. We do have a map highlighting the age of our sewage system, right?
We have half of the city done right now. Those are pretty expensive to do evaluations. We've got half of it done. We're looking to put that into the capital projects to do the rest of the city.
Okay.
We've got old infrastructure on the ground, and I know people roll their eyes when I say this, but there are some pipes that we don't know where they are, quite frankly. And so we've gotten a lot better. Didn't we just get that leak study done that probably?
Yeah, that was a leak. We had a grant to do the leak detection.
Right.
In the city.
So,
If we want to seek a loan as well, again, just restating, I know I previously talked about Chifa's loans for water meters, but they also provide, I think it's called a conservation water loan, and it's an amortized schedule of 20 years, I believe at 1.25% with principal forgiveness. So I mean, and once you map it one time, it shouldn't really change too much unless you're adding something new to it. So that might be worth our weight in water, if you will, to at least know where things are before they get hit. I had a question as well. Were you done with your question?
Yeah.
RDJE, I heard Mayor say it was with East Point and Hateville. When was the last time that contract, I guess, a consortia, if you will, was negotiated for emergency services?
We haven't with them, we just have an emergency call, that's all we do with them.
Okay. It might be if there's a working group, I'm not sure, with South Fulton Municipal Association or with the city managers, worth it to look to see if there's a consortia that can be had to even lower the cost. Because I was looking at some of the cost in here just for, I mean, it's already done, so it's not like you can renegotiate it now, but rates for crew trucks at at $31 an hour for 44 hours. You're paying their, they have 3 emergencies, they pay their truck off probably, so.
Emergency rate.
Emergency rate, yes.
But once they start, I mean, it's a lot of work and a lot of equipment. You get into that equipment, it's very expensive.
Yeah, the rental fees were crazy.
It's crazy.
I had a question, the water sewer fund, is that part of the fees that are collected annually now, the water sewer fee?
That was
Or
a
is that
stormwater, that was stormwater.
Stormwater, not, so
Right.
where,
That was for, the purpose of that money is for anything related to stormwater maintenance.
Yeah, the
And-
stormwater pipes won't crush this one.
Right.
It's fine.
Stormwater pipe itself's
Yeah,
fine.
it's, yeah.
yeah, that's what I was asking for.
Any other questions before we go to the motion?
What's our cycle for all contracts?
Should be here.
Do we, is it automatic renewal, or do we look at contracts annually?
On an emergency basis.
Period.
Contracts.
Emergency, general?
I think that might be a good subject for retreat. I think your typical city probably does 3-year base with 2-year extension. So you start looking at an RFP like 6 months before year 5 is done.
Well, a lot of the big projects are gonna go out on bid, so, those
Sure.
projects will handle that. But in things like this, it will be healthy to revisit those. And Tim, do the Tri-City city managers still meet? At one time, they were meeting, I don't know if y'all meet on a regular basis.
We
but-
haven't, I haven't, or.
You haven't had time to catch your breath yet.
I haven't been looped into that.
I understand, but if you think about it within, after budget and all, if you could possibly maybe reach out to them, that might be a good dialogue to have, to talk about how we could broker our forces together to maybe get some better rates on some of this stuff if possible. Maybe it's worth looking into. Any other questions? If there aren't, is someone prepared to make a motion on this side?
So move that we approve the invoice for $29,823.21.
Motion to approve, is there a second? Discussion?
And I noticed as well, like all of the attached invoices, seems like they get charged for tax and then they wipe the tax away since we're a city. I mean, does the vendor sort of carry the authority and the weight of a city when they're buying our stuff? Do they present like a tax-free document? I just noticed we were invoiced minus the taxes, which is a good thing, but.
Well, like, for example, the United Rentals invoice here, that was charged to the company, the contractor, so that's why it's got sales tax on it.
But if you look at the master invoice, they take all of the sales tax off. I just wasn't
We
sure.
provide a tax exempt document, sales tax exempt document for contractors.
Okay.
So they know not to charge us. And I assume they could go back to their suppliers and state they were doing government contract work, probably within sales tax rate. I don't know how far that goes, how far outside the transaction between us and the contractor.
Sure.
That goes.
That's
That's a good question to ask, though. Okay, do you want, oh, you've already got the motion, and we got a second? We get a second?
Nobody get a second.
Further discussion on this item? There being none, all in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. City manager report, Tim?
Well, I'm glad it's May, and we have our Cinco de Mayo, we call it Fiesta del Cinco. at Just Lucas Park. Come hungry and enjoy authentic Mexican dishes from Catalina's and Sombreros. Performing live throughout the event will be a mariachi band as well as other Latino bands. The festival will have plenty of food, arts and crafts, inflatables, community and business vendors, as well as a mechanical bull. Did you figure out how many seconds or minutes we need to ride it?
15
When
seconds.
are you gonna be on there?
Next week, the City of Hapeville Water Department will, along with Hapeville Fire, will begin their semi-annual flushing of fire hydrants beginning on May 7th. The Water Department will flush during the evening hours, starting around 7 p.m., with the Fire Department flushing during the day. We don't anticipate any problems, however, structures with old iron water lines may experience discolored water during the period. This effect is not hazardous and can be remedied by letting cold water run for a few moments. If you have any questions, feel free to contact them, Eubanks at our at Community Services, and we've got this posted on our website. Chief?
Yeah, we put it on our Facebook, next door.
Yeah, it's been out.
Okay.
Just don't wash a load of whites after they do it.
Well, that would be a good idea.
Made that mistake before.
And for my last basic update, the staff has been working diligently over the last month to provide me with basically our first draft for our budget. By COB tomorrow, I expect to forward over a draft to Mayor and Council. And then what we want to do is we'll open up basically for Mayor and Council to meet with our staff during the next week between Friday the 4th and Thursday the 10th for discussions, to get updates, to give you our priorities and also some of our threats and opportunities that we've got some areas of particular concern. All this is basically so that we are preparing for our first reading for the 15th of May.
All right, any questions for Tim, Council? Okay. All right, public comments. At this time, I'll entertain any comments or questions anybody would like to ask, and I'll start on my left this time. I got George and Mike, whichever one.
George Rogan, 2108 Woodland. I understand Mr. Young has completed the RFP for a new attorney, and that is on the city website. And he told me that he's going to put that out to the GMA. I would strongly suggest that it also go to the Georgia Bar. They have, I think, a place there for attorneys looking. And it should also go into the AJC. I think we need to have as many applicants as we possibly can. Than just one or two. That's my suggestion. The other thing is, I was looking at the, I had done a open records request for incident reports at 1155 Virginia Avenue. And this right here, for example, it says that 40 entering autos. On that report that I got back, there were about 200 or 250 in 2016 and 2017, I think, right, Mr.
George, what is 1155? I'm trying to channel my inner Google Maps, but I don't.
1150, oh, that's where the Crab Shack and,
Oh, okay.
yeah, all that,
Gotcha.
right. So that's a lot of issue there, and that doesn't look like good for our crime, the crime in Hapeville. And I was just wondering if the owner could do more security over there, because that same owner owns, like, I think another place that they do have a security guard running around. So I was concerned about that. Thank you.
The owner has a fairly extensive camera system over there, I know that, but these car break-ins are a big problem all over the metro line.
Yeah, well, when I saw that report, I thought to myself, I don't think I'm going to go over there alone. Thank you.
Thank you.
HPD used to, back when I used to hang out with Irish
How long ago has that been?
about 6 or 8 months. But no, HPD is patrolling there a lot.
Oh, yes.
Regularly, you see police officers sitting in their cars and not just parked there. So thieves are smart and know when to break windows, unfortunately.
Mike Murphy, 201 Colorado Avenue. You mentioned something in passing about a 4-day bill or a 40-hour bill for a piece of equipment on that sewer rig.
No, it's a 40-hour.
40 hours.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, equipment that was rented for 40 hours, that would be what, 4 days?
Uh,
The guys started on Friday, and they did not work on Saturday and Sunday. Nothing happened. And on Monday, they all came back, did whatever they did, and covered it up that night. I'm wondering if they're charging you for equipment that sat there on a Saturday and Sunday when nobody was using it.
Well, a lot of times I do alarm jobs and I'll have to rent a lift and I may not use it a week straight, but I have to pay the week rental.
This was an open sewer line, running sewer down in the bottom of a 14-foot
I'm
hole.
familiar with the
It was
project.
in my front yard, I smelled it when I got out of the truck, and I went, and I go, there's a sewer running down there, and there's nobody around. Nobody was there the whole weekend. And, they had taken a temporary plastic line, and just, which was much smaller than the steel line they cut out, and just slid it inside it on both ends. And there was no seal, no nothing, and the water would run it down, and then it would disappear into the ground. So you had raw sewage going in the ground for a whole weekend. That job was.
That started on a Monday. We didn't open it up till Monday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Oh,
and
but
Thursday.
what? They closed it on Monday.
No, it was open on Monday.
I was there. I sat there all weekend with nobody around. I go over and look at the hole, and there's the
You
stuff.
had other
running down.
contractors working that were on the streetscape.
No,
They also
we
had,
weren't there, nobody was there.
our supervisor area was the whole time.
We
I
wasn't.
was there though.
We're not
I'm
gonna.
not gonna argue it, but I was there the entire weekend, it's in my front yard, I sat on my porch, and I watched.
If you look at the rental, from, I think it
Well, it's just
was,
something you should look at.
March
well, I'm just saying
26th
the
was
rental from
Monday.
Yancey was from Monday through Thursday,
It was
so.
Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
It's cited on an independent invoice, so.
Any other comments? On my left, on my right? Lucy?
Thank you, Mayor.
You.
Lucy Dolan, 3438 Parkview Place. I wanted to talk for just a moment about traffic calming concerns in the Northwoods Neighborhood Association area as well as the wider city. Over the weekend, I spoke to one resident who lives on Wheeler Street, which is a one-way street right near the ballpark area. She got these signatures in one afternoon after work about people in her street that are concerned about speeders. And I went through and made a list of all the people that responded to a post that many of you may have seen on Hateville Next Door about an initiative that Nicole Hart took to get some slow down signs from an organization called PEDS.org. And I was very surprised to see that they were on several streets in the city. I added a few streets that I know are concerned and that a couple of neighbors told me to, and I came up with a list of 17. It includes North Central Avenue, which at times, I've personally seen cars driving so fast there that I've held my breath. It's very startling. I want to say, we have a wonderful town, we have great city services, and I want to applaud the police for what they're doing, but I believe that part of our problem is that we need more police officers. And I know that that's a function of budgetary concerns, but I believe that's part of the change that might help deal with some of these issues. And the other thing is, we may have to look at what ordinances may have to be changed that will allow us to lower the speed limits and perhaps post them in places. Now, one neighbor said that she noticed that some people actually slowed down on looking at the slow down signs, which is probably a good idea. That may not have a lasting effect. It may just be initially they were shocked to see it and slowed down. This doesn't address the break-ins that are occurring. I know that they're everywhere. However, that doesn't make people feel any better. So I would ask you, as you're considering the budget, which I know is a lot of work, to consider having, even if it's just more part-time officers available. And also to look at what our laws are regarding fines. And this may seem weird, both for littering and speeding. And so talking amongst yourselves who are professionals as to whether or not a lower fee might be appropriate where people are fined and forced to pay. And realize that we don't want speeders here and we don't want litterers. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Lisa. Any other, yeah, Sean?
I just have a couple comments. I want to thank Todd for his action on the litter cleanup around the ball fields. I'm out there walking every morning, and I know that our city people are out there picking up, but it's impossible to, I don't know what the answer is, because it's a mess over at the recycle center. I'm concerned about children getting hurt. They're parking on both sides of the street on Parkway, but it doesn't matter. They just pull up on both sides.
Well, the police were there Friday
night,
right?
there
Yeah,
were
Friday,
two cars
Saturday.
there, and I'm so happy they were there. I hope they were giving out tickets, because that's been ongoing. The other thing is, Todd, people are running their dogs on the ball field, and if my children are out there running them bases, I wouldn't want to be walking where them dogs have been. Isn't that ball field right across the street from me supposed to be lawned?
Yes, ma'am.
Hamlet. Thank you.
We put Todd in charge of dog poop, so.
Either that or bring their pooper scooper. I mean,
We put the bags out around there and everything, it's really crazy.
Just have to lock the gate back.
there are bags out, Alan. There are bags out.
All right, any other comments on the ride? Council comments? Travis?
Specifically regarding that, and I've mentioned a few pending laws that are not signed yet by the governor. In previous talks with the city manager, I've talked to them about a company out of Maryland called OptiTraffic. They offer ticketing solutions on a sort of a fee-sharing basis. One being for truck height, i.e. for no commercial vehicles going through a residential area. The other one is for red lights, and Georgia, potentially up until July 1st, has always been opposed, from what I understand, for automated ticketing by way of a camera that doesn't involve an officer issuing a citation or a ticket. I believe one of the things that passed and still is remaining to be signed by the governor is a law that allows a city to make a overlay district for where kids walk to school, and then to place cameras in those areas that can capture somebody that's going over a posted speed limit and issue a ticket automatically. So that might be a deterrent in some areas. It's not a solution for everywhere, but
I'll have to send the emails to you. We had two red light cameras. We have one right out here at Virginia Avenue, at Atlanta and Lucra. And then we had another one up by the post office here in Atlanta and South Central. And we got nasty emails from people. People come up with all kinds of cinematography things that you're superimposing their car into this video and just crazy stuff. I mean, so it's not without its share of pain. I know what you're saying, and I don't totally disagree with you, but the amount of complaints we get, and I think the chief can echo this, it was not a very pleasant experience.
It was not there.
Yeah, so, but that doesn't mean we couldn't give it another shot. I'm just saying, we've got some history with that's not of a pleasant variety.
I've had a lot of constituents and my father, telling me that AT&T cell coverage in Hapeville has been shoddy at best over the last, since the installation of the metal tree.
And this tree, and this tower.
This tree. So I'm not sure if our only contact is by way of who pays the franchise fee, but if that's a clever route to get back to AT&T, I think it might be beneficial to a lot of folks that use that service. Last week we talked about Ring doorbells. We had pivoted for the Smart Communities grant to focus on a different piece of technology. Ring Incorporated offers a program called Ring Masters, where you can get a $25 discount on a device, and then the person that's giving the code out gets $50. I'm trying to ask them if it's possible they can create something for municipalities where that full $50 plus 25, so $75 is given as a discount versus just 25 and somebody pocketing the 50. So the sales executive that I reached out to is checking with the vice president at that company, and hopefully I'll have an answer, I thought by this week, but it's looking like next. Smart Communities Grant, Aerotropolis Community Improvement District, CID for this area, was going to be doing a competing grant, if you will, for the Smart Communities Grant offered through Georgia Tech. Tim Young, city manager, had reached out to me and given me the contact information for Kirsten Moat, who works for Aerotropolis CIDs. And luckily, through her leadership and through the cooperation that the CID provides, there is a joint effort application that was submitted today at like noon that's focusing on making Virginia Avenue a smart corridor. That touches on a bunch of different partners that submitted the application. So it was Aerotropolis CIDs, City of Hapeville, East Point, College Park, and Delta Airlines as a corporate partner. So it'll be interesting to see if we get that, but it seems like through their connections with the Atlanta Regional Commission, it'll be an easy win. The 8% hotel motel tax has not yet been signed by the governor, or the authorization to allow the city of Hapeville, so I'm keeping an eye on that. I had a question for city staff as it relates to when employees leave and or council members leave, the documentation and retention schedule for emails. And since we're on a cloud server now, I believe through Office 365, it's probably cheaper, but I've just been told by folks that the emails are still out there for prior individuals that look at the city, so it might be beneficial to